What up, New York Giant Nation? It's your boy Mac the Giants fan, and this is the True Blue Aftermath. Let's go.
You want to be great, you got to work at it, right?
In the books, man. It wasn't a pretty one, but the New York Giants come away with another W nonetheless, making that 2 in a row for the New York Football Giants, led by their young, undrafted free agent quarterback, Tommy DeVito. And numbers ain't blown, but they were still efficient, and he played a clean football game for the most part, other than the couple little hiccups here and there, putting the ball on the ground a little bit. Lost one of those fumbles, which I don't even know if that was really on him, the one that got lost. And he recovered the other one. So no harm, no real harm, no real foul, as far as I'm concerned. Still not throwing the ball to the other team, protecting the football for the most part. Like I said, played a very efficient game. 17-25 for 191. And a touchdown pass on the day, man. So Tommy DeVito, you out there, you can't really ask for much more from this young man. You cannot ask for anything more from the young man, Tommy DeVito, out there doing, playing well. I mean, who would have thought that the best quarterback play we were going to get from the New York Giants this season was going to be from the undrafted rookie free agent Tommy DeVito? Who really thought that? Who really believed that with Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor on the roster in front of him, man? Nobody would have believed that Tommy DeVito was going to be leading by the week 12 mark, be leading this team in touchdown passes. Couldn't get the run game going today. Saquon Barkley, I mean, I feel like they didn't really commit enough to it, but they couldn't get it going nonetheless. Saquon Barkley was just 46 yards on the ground. But a bit of a coming out party for young Jalen Hyatt. His first 100-yard day in the NFL. Had a big day, 5 catches, 109 yards. That long 41-yarder down the sideline. Look, I'm obviously we can see we all watch the same game. We know. We saw 2 pretty bad football teams playing football, but this New York Giant defense, man, it's got some more than salvageable pieces on this defense, man. We got to figure out a way to keep this defense for the most part together, man. Xavier McKinney is now put together 2 back-to-back amazing games, 2 great performances for Xavier McKinney back-to-back. And I know people have had a strong opinion about Xavier McKinney throughout this season, myself included. But it was going on, no mess, no nets, no jets, baby. Like I said, I'm not all about the tanking, man. I'm happy for all the W's. Keep getting all the W's. I'm happy for that. We'll let draft selection fall where that lies when we get to that point in time, man. But I want to win the football games. So I'm all about this W again today, man. Look, like I said, it wasn't pretty, but this defense, man, like Xavier McKinney on the day, 10 more tackles a day, two pass breakups, an interception. I mean, Xavier McKinney's just been all over the field the last couple of weeks. 11, yeah, exactly. Great comment right there. That's what I was just getting ready to hit on that. Great comment in the chat. No mess, no nest, no just. 11 takeaways, and how many games for this defense in the last 3? 11 takeaways in the last 3 games for this New York Giant team defense. This is just been this defense. You can say what you want, who they playing against, and this, that, and the other. That does not matter. All these turnovers, that's a product of the defense playing good, fundamental, and sound football. I don't want to hear excuses about who they playing against and this, that, and the other. I don't want to hear it. That's nonsense. Because these same players on this team, they played against all the other teams they played against on their schedule. And the New York Giants right now are capitalizing on these quarterbacks' mistakes and these quarterbacks' errors. And just another great day for this defense. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau credited with a half a sack, moving him up to 11 on the season. I mean, people having to step up. Look, the middle of the defense was very vulnerable, as you saw. The New England Patriots were absolutely gashing us in the run game up the gut. The missing Dexter Lawrence, that's a big loss for this defense, obviously. And Patriots were trying their best, taking advantage of it. And honestly, they could have just kind of kept turning around and handing that ball off all day long, and we might not have ever had an answer for it, to be honest. So we'll take it. You know what I mean? But they did run the ball really well. Ramondre Stevens coming up 2 yards shy at 100-yard mark. Zeke Elliott running well in his opportunities. So yeah, that's something that needs to be cleaned up. But that's obviously a product of Dexter Lawrence not being out there. They were just running the ball right up the gut. on us with regularity in this game. But I think if you just want to, I mean, look at this. As Tommy DeVito, you say what you want about this young man, man, but he's got the moxie, man. He's got that moxie. He's got kind of what it takes to go out there and get out there. And I'm not saying he's like the solution of let's build this offense around Tommy DeVito now going forward and all this. No, not saying all that. What I'm saying is he definitely looks like he's a more than reliable backup quarterback in this league for sure. A more than reliable one. And he just has that confidence that you can't coach. Those are the things you can't coach. You can coach the skills, you can coach the how to throw the ball here, where to throw the ball there, and this, that, and the other. You can't coach the confidence a player has within himself, man. That has to come from within. Can't nobody just give you that. You gotta have that. And Tommy DeVito has that, man. This kid is fearless out there. Yeah, he's taking a lot of sacks. He's taken a record amount of sacks, as a matter of fact, in these first three starts of his career. A record amount. And that's not necessarily a good thing, but he's not turning the ball over. He's not putting the ball in harm's way. He's not making poor decisions. He's playing good, solid, efficient football, which is what you want from a backup quarterback coming in. But only thing is this backup quarterback is playing better than our starting quarterback. This is you look at this offensive line is absolutely terrible. It is. It definitely needs to be upgraded. But just solid, efficient quarterback play can supplement things a little bit. And you're seeing that from Tommy DeVito. I mean, he's, like I said, not forcing things, and he's just absolutely fierce. And you're right. He's got balls, bro. He's got balls. He's not out there scared. He's not scared of nothing. He shakes it all off. He gets sacked. He gets back up, and he goes out there again, and he just keeps going, man. And you got to respect that. You got to love that as a New York Giants fan. Too many of you guys are like upset, mad. Oh, we went 2 in a row now. What are they trying to do? Now we got 4 wins on the season now. Guess what? So what? I hope we get 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, I know that's a bit outrageous, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility this team gets to 6 wins. Just because the confidence in which Tommy DeVito is playing with. And granted, I know this win was probably a lot less on him and a lot more on the defense today, but he played his part. He did his part for the most part. I mean, every pass ain't going to come out perfect, obviously, but he still did his part. Like I said, a good, clean, for the most part, clean, efficient game. So, the couple fumbles that he was credited for, they didn't hurt the team. They ended up not hurting this football team. Tommy DeVito, man, look, like I said, just his presence right now is showing me that this team can and probably will get to at least six wins on the season. At least. Because you can't convince me that there's no possible way we can beat Green Bay when we come off the bye week. You can't tell me there's no – after you watch this New Orleans Saints team play earlier today against the Atlanta Falcons, you can't tell me there's no way in the world we can't beat that football team. You can't convince me of that. You just can't. I mean, sure, we'll be underdogs to both of those teams, obviously, for obvious reasons. But you can't convince me that there's just no way in hell that those are not the type of games that we can win. So I'm a believer. I'm a believer in what my eyes are seeing, and my eyes are seeing a young quarterback that plays fearless out there. And this defense is seeming to just elevate off of his energy, feeding off of it. They're feeding off of this young man's energy because they're just continuing to make plays. I mean, this is just what we are seeing is insane. The last 2 weeks, 9 turnovers in these last 2 games and these last 2 wins. 9. I don't think we had that many turnovers the whole first half of this season, let alone just the last 2 games. Like this is he absolutely is. He is absolutely developing, and it's a beautiful thing to see, man. He is just getting more and more confidence with him, and the team believes in him. The team, his teammates believe in this young man. What's going on, Sonny D, man? Appreciate you for stopping in, man. No doubt indeed. But this team definitely believes in Tommy DeVito. What up, Mac? I hope Giants draft Jaden Daniels. We still need a new quarterback. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you, son. I'm not, like I said, I'm not crazy. I'm not saying build this thing around Tommy DeVito. He's the answer. I'm saying he's a good, solid, looks like a good, solid, legitimate option at number 2. And right now, that'll be on the very cheap. Cheaper than Tyrod Taylor, to be quite frank. So it's just something to give the Giants something to seriously think about and consider. But yes, absolutely, need to get another quarterback out there. I do still want to see this team be aggressive in the quarterback market this offseason, particularly in the draft, and get one of these young studs that are coming out at the top end of the draft. I would absolutely like to see that. We still need to see that. I agree, 100% with you there. But I just still right now I'm talking about the present, and right now in the present we got Tommy DeVito, and this young man is just impressing me, man. He's impressing me, like I said, with his guts. The way he just goes out there, it's just effort. It's just carefree, man. He ain't worried about it. He ain't scared. He ain't nervous. He ain't worried about a damn thing. It's just like I said, it's that confidence that you can't coach. It's what Daniel Jones, unfortunately, it's been taken away from him completely. He has none of that when he steps on that field in uniform anymore. That's just the facts for everybody. This is proven. This is the facts. Proof is in the pudding right here. Tommy DeVito is still playing behind just as beat up the O-line as Daniel Jones was. Just as bad an O-line as Daniel Jones was. And the results are just vastly different. And I don't want to keep, dogging out Daniel Jones because I know the young man's been through a lot. But he's been through a lot here, and I don't want to. I was, I tried as much as I could to be one of his biggest supporters, man. But the proof is in the pudding. Eyes don't lie, man. I know what I'm seeing out there. Just a quarterback with some air of confidence and just competency. If that's even what I'm trying to say there, it makes a difference even with a bad O line in front of him. Offense still is not functioning the way I would like to see it function. Clearly, you only put up 10 points on the day, but it's still functioning better. Like I said, just the shots downfield that Jalen Hyatt taking, and one thing I like to see is Wan'Dale playing around the line of scrimmage a lot. I like to get him involved a little bit more with some of the downfield action a little bit. I don't know why. They keep everything so tight to the line of scrimmage with him. I like to see him getting a little bit involved with some of the downfield stuff because he's one of those guys that has that ability. He's a former running back in his early college years and stuff like that. He's a guy that can, get him out in some open space, and he can make some guys miss out there, man. So I like to see them use him a little bit more downfield, man, and some of the downfield stuff. But and look, let's face it, this wide receiving core, we also know this is not a good unit overall. Not an overall good unit. It's so many times Tommy DeVito's out there buying time, trying to make, he's literally buying time, getting out the pocket, and nobody's winning their battles downfield, apparently. Nobody's winning their battle. Can't nobody get open for the kid. So at the end of the day, another big sack day. He lost another 6 sacks on the day for Tommy DeVito. That's 15 in the last 2 weeks, 20, I believe they said, in the last 3 weeks. Or something like that, so not exactly a number we want to keep. We want to start seeing that trend in a better direction. But look, I'm just excited because this team is finally giving me something to feel at least halfway good about on this season. It was so bad and so hard to watch this team and talk about this team over the whole course of the first half of the season, and now at least it's still not pretty. But at least I don't just feel like hanging my head down between my legs when I walk around with my New York Giants shit on out in public. I don't feel so embarrassed because I know everybody's kind of just laughing at me, I don't feel that way anymore. I feel better. This makes me feel better as a fan to see the inspired football this team is playing over the course of these last couple of weeks. This is making me feel a lot better as a fan. Like, Like I said, I don't care. And like no mess, no nest, no Jets says, we don't need number one or two pick to be successful. We just need a mobile quarterback with balls and more pieces on both lines. Absolutely, man. That's what we need. We don't. It's like I said, everybody's putting so much into this. Oh, you gotta get one of the first two picks in the draft. Why? Because that what guarantees you what? That you get one of the top prospects. I'll tell you about prospects. Ryan Leaf was once a top prospect. Remember that guy, Ryan Leaf? When that draft year came around, what was that, 97 or something like that, I believe it was, or whatever year it was, people were talking about, oh, should we go Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning? I bet the coach are certainly glad, certainly glad they went the way they went on that one. Nonetheless, the San Diego Chargers, who took Ryan Leaf number 2 overall, where'd that get him? It's just not all. It doesn't matter what these dudes are doing in college. The NFL is a whole different ball game, and we don't know who's going to be good in the NFL. We hope, we think what we see on the college field, we know what's going to happen. We don't really know. So the hell are you going to sit there and play to get the number 1 overall pick for? You want to tank and lose games to just get that pick when you still don't know what the hell you're getting. You take what the hell you can get when you can get it, and you figure that all out. What's going on, Tudo, man? Thanks for stopping and appreciate it, man. I mean, yeah, the effort I'm seeing is like I said, from this defense. Before, the defense was just checking out of football games because the offense was just so abysmal. But now, this defense is still continuing to play inspired football. They're sticking around for the whole game, for the whole 4 quarters, and playing inspired football because the offense, they have a little bit more confidence in the offense's ability to move the ball up and down the field. And that's just also a fact. You can see it. You're watching it. This is not a bad defense overall. This is a solid defensive unit. Bobby Okereke is absolutely playing out of his mind. Playing out of his mind. He's playing at an all-pro level on this defense. I mean, he had to hold it down today without Dexter Lawrence in the middle of that defense, and he held it down. Had the one big interception and almost got another one. Did kind of whiff on that one sack, but hey, we can let that go. Didn't end up killing us. But we let that one go. I mean, after what season he's having, how can you not? I mean, it's just, like I said, it's good to see, man. I'm proud. I'm proud of this football team once again because they're out there giving me an effort worthy of this team. Like, this is what all we ever wanted to see. It's okay to lose when you're giving and demonstrating that. But the way we were losing some of these games on the earlier part of this season, man, it was effortless. We were losing because we appeared to not even be trying. There was no belief. There's belief again in this locker room with these guys. There's belief again amongst this roster. They do believe. I mean, this was a Bill Belichick coached football team coming off of a bye week. They had 2 weeks to get ready for this for the New York Giants. And all they could put up was 7 damn points. Tell me this defense ain't balling. It doesn't matter who they going against. They are balling. And they have been. And now the offense is finally giving them a reason to keep on balling. Continue to do it, man. It's been awesome. This has been awesome to see. Like I said, I don't want to hear the word tank no more. This team clearly ain't doing that. Like I said, I still believe a couple more wins is left. They got a couple more left in them. At least a couple more. I mean, I know some games that I'm not going to even really consider thinking we have a real chance, like, the couple against the Eagles down the stretch. But at the end of the day, I believe this team can win at least 2 more games. They've got 2 more on their schedule that are definitely winnable. Can't convince me otherwise. Not from what I'm seeing. This kid is playing with too much confidence, and this defense is playing way too good. Way too good right now. They're playing on a high high level. Wink has these guys ready to go. So, I mean, that's what it's all about, man. Belief and effort, man. Belief and effort. And that's what this team has right now. They believe. Now, granted, it's too little too late, obviously. Dug ourselves in way too big of a hole. But at the end of the day, this team does believe. That's what they said. No rookie quarterback is beating Bill Belichick. That's what they tried to say. Well, this undrafted rookie free agent definitely did. That's what he did. He went out there, undrafted kid, local kid, still living home with his mom and pops, living the dream. Let me bring my homie in. AC, there you go, man. I've been talking this whole time. What you got, bro?
Useless. This team is fucking. This team stinks. Both teams stink. Okay, I don't want to hear that we're going to beat the Packers. We're going to beat this team. This team stinks. Offensively, the Giants do what they do. They score a touchdown, and I feel like they're playing the same ball they played last week. But if they play like this against the Packers, they're not winning. If they play like this against the Rams, Saints, they're not winning. Those defenses are far better than what we saw in their quarterback situations, far better, and those offenses have more playmakers. So I don't expect us going against these two teams to do anything. But I'm done with Tommy DeVito. I'm done with this team. I'm over this shit. How can we care about wins when the defensive coordinator is about to be fucking fired? Okay. There's reports that they don't like each other. How do we want this to end? Right? We want to win 6 or 7 games and be like, oh, let's do that. No. Get your quarterback, get cemented, and let's go. Dexter Lawrence wasn't playing. You saw it. They gave up 100 yards. Any competent quarterback outside of Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi beats us. 3 turnovers by these quarterbacks. That's what's happened. Good for the defense. Get your 3 turnovers. But this offense is terrible. 10 points. Again, luckily we played the Patriots. We expected this kind of a game, a 7-10, field goal type of shit. And it's disgusting. And if anyone's happy with the win, that's fine. But we still have a lot of problems. And on offense, the line still stinks. The quarterback still stinks. The receivers are not very good, but they did enough to win the football game against another team that is also trending in the wrong direction. Now, if the Packers come out next week, they're not going to be Kansas City, but they'll still be in the hunt. Come us again on Monday Night Football, they're going to come out and play hard. I don't see that us winning another game in December, but hey, 4 wins, miserable season doesn't really mean much. Just takes us out of the top 10, top 2 in the quarterback race. And you know how I feel about this team. It doesn't matter what you do. If Daniel Jones is on this team and you're starter next year, you're not winning football games regardless. So if you're not going to rip the Band-Aid off and redo it, I don't want to be here for what happens next.
Well, look, you already know how I feel about winning is winning, and that's what I want. That's what I want to see my team do week in and week out, as far as I'm concerned. Because you know how I feel. I'm opposite of that. I don't care about the draft until it's time for the draft. I don't care about a draft selection, as I just gave examples earlier before you came on. All these top prospects, that's what they are. They're top prospects. They're not guaranteed anything. They're not a guaranteed anything. So we'll get who we get, and hopefully it'll be a guy that works out. But nothing's guaranteed. So I don't want to lose football games for a draft pick, for a draft selection. I want to still continue to win football games if we can win football games. And what I was and the thing about quarterback play, like I was mentioning about Tommy DeVito earlier, sure, he's definitely not the answer for like a long-term starter by no means, but he's showing that he's definitely could be a reliable backup guy on your roster, on probably anybody's roster. He absolutely could be. That's what I'm talking about. And he's out there playing with a level of confidence that's something that you can't coach. That's extra tangible that you can't coach. That's not something that's not the X's and O's. That's just the confidence he has within himself. He's out there playing fearlessly. He's played 2 back-to-back very efficient football games. The turnovers he had today, the 1 turnover he had today, is that even really his fault? Because look, he put the ball right in Wan'Dale Robinson's belly, and Wan'Dale Robinson just mishandled it or whatever. But that's neither here nor there. And he did put the ball on the ground one more time where he did recover it. But he's protecting the football. He's playing very efficient. And he's an undrafted free agent. undrafted free agent, so rookie free agent. So what do you? Nobody has high expectations for this kid anyway, and he's going out there and he's still playing above the X's and O's, playing above the numbers, man.
The team.
And I can appreciate that because as a fan, when I walk around as a prideful New York Giant fan. Every day, people know I'm a New York Giant fan. Whether they know me or don't know me, they know I'm a New York Giant fan. That's how I represent every
Not
day,
me.
everywhere I go.
I don't. This team is
But
nothing to be prideful about.
when I go out and walk around now, especially these last couple of weeks, I feel like I don't have to have my head hanging down because our team just took some stupid beat down because they just didn't even try. Like I said, what they're getting on this whole team believing in Tommy DeVito, and you can see it on the defense because this defense is the same defense that in several games earlier in this season, while the offense is doing absolutely nothing, which it didn't do a lot today, it didn't, but when the offense is doing, this defense was quitting on games where they said, well, you know what, y'all not doing shit, we're going to stop playing too. That's not happening. These last couple games, this defense is giving us 4 quarters. They are giving us 4 quarters of effort that we haven't seen. You can. I'm not telling you how to fan. I'm telling you how I fan.
Him. He's telling me that I need to not root for this team. No, I get wins, but if you listen, no Mets, no Jets, if you want to keep Daniel Jones here and you want this to do, that's what you got. That's what's going to happen. They're going to run it back with the same thing, and we're going to be in the same situation next year with maybe not the same plethora of quarterbacks to choose from. So yeah, am I a little angry that we might not get one? Yeah. What is it winning a game against the Patriots do for us in our draft stock? We still are a crappy team. We still barely won the football game. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm impressed that they beat the Patriots. Sure, we won. You know.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. When we get to this offseason, I think this defense is letting you know, it's showing you that probably don't want to do too much. Probably don't want to disrupt much of the defense other than continuing to add to it. I mean, Xavier McKinney, he might be asking for too much. He might be asking for too much. We'll have to see when we get to negotiations with that kid. Right now, I'm leaning towards definitely wanting to keep him a part of his defense, but at the same time, not overpaying him for damn sure. Can't afford to overpay him. But at the end of the day, the offense is clearly the problem. That is clearly the problem with this football team is the offense. So we need to really put some serious resources into this offense this offseason and continue to just keep adding some maybe good, solid depth pieces to this defense. I mean, this Patriot offense had ran the ball right down our throat because Dexter Lawrence wasn't out there. I mean, I'm not saying they wouldn't have been able to run the ball at all if he was out there, but not as effectively as they were. They clearly took advantage of him not being there, and that also had an impact on this game too as well.
Good.
But what you was gonna say?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just talking to him. Good, fine. Yeah, we beat the Brady. Yeah, I'm happy we beat Brady. But right now, there's nothing to be prideful about. If Mac wants to be prideful about his team, he's more than welcome to. I didn't wear a single Giant gear today. I'm not accepting shitty product. If you want to, you're more than welcome to. If Mac wants to wear his Giant gear and is happy that he wins because he's in Eagle country, well, fine by him, and that's what he can do. If I want to sit here and not wear it and not be happy that we won a meaningless game, Mac's not telling me what to do. You are. No, Matt. You're saying I shouldn't be a fan of this team. I can do whatever the hell I goddamn well please. Okay? And then I'm not telling you what to do. All I'm saying is if we go out and get out of the quarterback market because we decide to win a few games to get out, we take a guy that's not as good and we had a chance to, we run it back next year and we're in the same boat, then what's the point? I'm thinking of the future of the franchise.
But we might get the best guy. We might get the best guy regardless.
It's true. We might.
You never know. That's my whole point. You never know.
If you want to argue with me, then say this. Hey, there's still 6 weeks left in the season. You don't know what's going to happen the next 6 weeks, right? The Giants could lose out, which I believe they're going to lose the next 5 games in December anyway, because I just think they play slightly better teams than we are offensively. And I think, whether you bring Tyrod Taylor back next week or 2 weeks from now, because they're on a bye, or whether you keep DeVito. Personally, I would put DeVito in there. There's no point in seeing Tyrod Taylor anymore. I want to continue to see if this kid has enough to be the backup quarterback, like Max said. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I just want a chance at being able to get the top guy. Now, if we don't, Jaden Daniels could be the guy. I'm excited about way more picks than just Caleb Williams and Drake May. Far more. far more. I like Bo Nix. I like Michael Penix Jr. I like Jaden Daniels. I like J.J. McCarthy. I'd be happy with any four of those guys, as a matter of fact.
I mean, yeah, like I said, and hopefully we can get one of them and or whoever. But at the end of the day, you just never know. Like I said, you can go to several drafts and see. It just doesn't. There's no exact science to this. There's no. I mean, a lot of the top prospects aren't always. I mean, yeah, sure. There's always the Joe
Oh,
Burrows
God.
and the Peyton Mannings of the world. There's always those guys of the world too. But at the end
They
of the
don't win
day,
them.
there's also there's also the Tom Brady's of the world. There's also the other guys, the Russell Wilsons, the guys that are late round draft picks that come in. The new
Right, right, right.
Seattle Seahawks just signed Matt Flynn. They just signed Matt Flynn in the offseason that year to a big
I'm not
contract to be
saying,
their starting quarterback, and a third round draft pick, Russell Wilson, came in there and took his fucking spot. Like it's
listen,
just no
I'm
exact
not saying
science.
you're
That's
wrong.
so tanking to lose football games for those guys. I'm not tanking for those guys. I
No,
mean,
no.
I want to win
Yeah.
football games, and we'll see. Let chips lie fall where they lie. You know what I mean? Come draft
I,
time.
no one's going to
Like
tank in the NFL. That's ridiculous and ludicrous to say. But the thing is, I will tell you this: they're going to make a move for Arch Manning. So you were saying we're going to wait 2 years to get a quarterback that would be
no, I
asinine.
don't
But
know.
and maybe it does happen. I don't know. But what you need to see now is, again, I don't need to see Tyrod Taylor. Let DeVito be the starter. Let him get those lumps. Let him get the game experience. Because again, if he needs to be the starter at some point next year, or the rookie goes down, Daniel Jones goes down, who knows? You're going to want to be able to see what he's got and know that he can keep it afloat. Right now, that's what he can do. He's not a very good quarterback. He's not going to light the world on fire. He's got a bit of a swagger to him. You should be happier to watch him. But again, think about this. Okay, his quarterback didn't matter. I mean, of course, he wouldn't have drafted. He had Kerry Collins here. He decided to move on. Why? Because they were having a shitty season similar to this one, winning no football games and meaningless times, right? And this is the time where you've got to, it's easier to move up in 10, 5, 10, 8, 9, 10 to move up and get a guy than it is from 25. And that's where you worry, where, you go off and win 2 games. I want to win every week. But when I see the quarterback draft in this class, I want a chance to get one of the premium ones if I get a chance to get one. I can't hope that a Spencer Rattler is going to develop. I can't hope that. Yes, there are stories that have happened, such as Sam Howell, such as Russell Wilson. Those aren't always a guarantee. You know what I mean? I know someone's going, the GOAT, and there's a bust rate. I understand all that. I get it. What it means is that I do believe they have to take one in order to save their jobs, because right now they're firing everybody, apparently, according to Jay Glazer. Why would, I mean, you don't even know. See, here's the reason why this doesn't make sense. Because let's say they fuck around and win like 8 games, right? And then now what are you going to do? Move up? These guys won't even be here for Arch Manning. They'll be fired. Shane and Dable will be moved on from. A new coaching staff is going to be there, and they're going to move up and move heaven and earth, and not have any assets. Come on, man. It's. I don't think that's the way to go. But
I mean, you can't really. I mean, you can't think about Arch Manning right now. He's not coming out right now in this draft coming up this year. You can't really be putting much stock in that, thinking about him, man. But honestly, I do believe. I just look. I don't know, maybe
our team is
because
terrible.
it's just fun
We
watching this kid run around, man. It's fun watching this kid run around. Like I said, just playing loose, just playing loose. When the last time you seen a New York Giant quarterback just play loose? Out there not really like Jalen Hyde had his first 100-yard game of the season. Why is that? Why is it week 12 and he's just having his first 100-yard game? The kind of receiver that he is, that can get downfield the way he does. It's because we weren't throwing the fucking ball to him. But Tommy DeVito is, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. It's just this kid just doesn't give a fuck. He's not out there saying, "Oh, I'm not going to make that throw because I'm scared it's going to get picked off." He's just launching that sucker down the field, and he's doing it pretty well, half pretty decent. Like I said, this O-line is absolute garbage, but yet he's still making plays behind it. And
well
that's the
again.
difference. Like something you always said. It's something you always said. Like the quarterbacks can make the offensive line look a little bit better. And he kind of does that, even though his offensive line is absolute garbage. He buys a little bit of time. The receivers don't necessarily get open down the field for him. It's just a lot going on with this football team on the offensive side of football, and I get all of that. It's bad, particularly on the offensive side of football. But we got a defense that could really look like it could be something special, man. And if they can get this offense built up just a little bit better, man, and make it a little more efficient, I mean, this team could be pretty decent, man.
Well,
And to me, it does start with a quarterback. It does start with a quarterback.
but my point
Getting the
is,
right guy in here.
you're talking about being this decent team, right? Oh, we're going to be decent. We got this, we got that. But at the same time, if we run back the same quarterback that we have, we're not going to be decent. We're going to be mediocre because when we play the games that really matter, he's not going to show up. And Tommy DeVito is not going to be the guy that I want to see when we're out of the playoffs. We're like, oh, here comes Tommy DeVito. Great, he's in the game, and now we miss out on quarterbacks because we're 7-10, 8-9, miss the playoffs, and just happen to be mulling around the next couple of years and not be able to do that. And hope that the team is built. What you do now is you go get your guy, right? I don't think, and this is me personally, I don't think the Giants are winning many games in December, if any, because again, people can laugh at me. Green Bay ain't no slouch. They're going to be fighting for the playoffs. The Saints just lost. They're going to be fighting for the playoffs. Okay, and they have a decent defense and a quarterback that's not a bonehead like Mac Jones and these other guys. So, we'll see what happens. I just don't believe. I just don't think that we're going to be as good as people think we are. I don't think we're going to be as bad as people think we are. But I look at C.J. Stroud and what the Houston Texans are doing, and I'm like, man, I want a chance to get that because they're set at quarterback. They were told that C.J. Stroud wasn't the better of the two, and they got him. Right? Anthony Richardson. I'm excited for that. Mara is doing a dumb thing if he wants to win because guess what? Jersey sales will go through the roof. You get a whole new sense about this team, And we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? I don't think we're winning this the next couple weeks. I think maybe the game against the Eagles, January 1st or 2nd or whatever that game is. We're not beating them again on Christmas. The Rams are going to be a tough out. They have a decent quarterback and decent defense, and our offensive line is shitty. Green Bay is decent. They're a team that whether or not we like it, they're not going to be easy. None of these teams are going to be easy. I know, but so okay. Here, let's play devil's advocate. So now we draft Marvin Harrison Jr. He comes out, our quarterback can't get him the football. What does that mean? What does that mean? You draft Marvin Harrison to be a stud, and the guy can't get open because the quarterback, like you said, is not playing loose. So now we're here winning 5 to 7 games a year because we had a chance to get Marvin Harrison Jr. and we decided to get him, and we're stuck.
Look, I'm not saying don't draft a quarterback. I'm just saying
I'm talking to people.
You got to get what the draft. I'm talking about the draft position. I know who you're talking to. I'm just saying, but the draft position, it just is what it is, man. Whether we get the number 1 pick or we get the number 12 pick, you got to make the best of that selection, and that's what you got to do, man. Like I said, I just winning. I'm not going to be upset about winning football games. I can't do it. I can't. I'm not wired that way. I can't be upset about this team winning football games. I just can't. It's just not something. It's not in my DNA to be upset about a win. A win is a win is a win, and that's what you're out there playing. That's what they're out there playing the game for. And it's not even the win so much to win, like I said, because the way they're playing now, I can accept the law. I can accept them losing playing the way they're playing now. It's just a little more inspired the way they're playing. It's just effort that we weren't seeing in the earlier part of the season. And that's what I'm talking about from this football team. It's just the way things looked earlier in the year to the way it's looked the last couple of weeks. It's just night and day. It's just night and day, and like I said, it's mostly on the defensive side of the football. These guys are just creating turnovers, man. And it doesn't matter who they're playing against. Mac Jones has been the same sorry motherfucker he's been all year. I mean, to everybody else. His turn, don't turn they count. It doesn't matter. he turns the ball over, Giants take advantage of that shit. And everybody else they play has too. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. So it's not about who they're playing. They're still making things happen. And I'm not using an excuse about who they're playing. And if they play somebody better, they can force turnovers on Jordan Love too, the way this defense is playing. This defense
I'm not saying
is
I'm not saying
playing
I'm not saying they
lights
can't.
out football right now.
I'm not saying they can't, and I don't think they're really playing as lights out as everyone thinks. I think they're doing just enough. I think they're a solid defense. I don't think they're this great thing. I really don't. When you're giving up 100 yards a game rushing, I don't think that's very good. But no one's taking advantage of that right now because we're not playing a decent team. The Cowboys were a decent team. The Packers are going to be a team that's going to get healthier. They have a decent running game. They have a decent offensive line. They have decent receivers. They can make some noise if it comes down to a close game. I feel they could do it. We're getting turnovers in bunches, and I feel that. And it does matter about styles make fights because I don't care about beating the Commanders or Patriots. Go up against the Eagles and beat them. You beat those teams, then we'll talk. If we don't beat those teams, it don't matter to me, right? It doesn't matter to me that we're close and we beat the Commanders and the fucking Patriots in a shitty ass fashion. We didn't even beat them that great. We had 3 turnovers. We don't get that third turnover in the red zone, and they don't get that turnover by Mac Jones, that interception, and they get a field goal. Maybe they're driving to win. Who knows what's happening? My point is, we ended up on the good end of the stick this week. Don't expect that to be the case with this offense and how they work. But hey, listen, we hired a big shot GM for a reason. Yeah, and he signed Daniel Jones back. Smart move right there. So big shot guy. Like this guy. But I want to get back to what Miz said. Something along the lines of he knows that Mara is meddling. That's, I think, the reason why a lot of us are upset with the wins is because we know what Mara is capable of doing. If this was a team that was just hell bent on saying, hey, yeah, we want the top pick because we believe in Drake May and Caleb Williams and these guys being, quarterbacks that could be here for the next, 15 years, then they would do that. They're not doing that. They want to win to make it look pretty so that they can avoid taking the quarterback and then try to sell to you, hey, we're only a defensive player away. Hey, we're only an offensive line away. And then bring back Daniel Jones and we're back in the same boat here, scrapping to try to get wins and everything like that. That's all I'm saying to you. If you guys want that, that's fine. We'll win games, and that's what's going to happen. You'll get Daniel Jones back to get your guy back. And, there's no guarantee that there's no guarantee we're going to be in the top spot next year because by her circumstance, Brian Dable's going to be playing for his job. So he's not going to want to just sit there and be like, oh, let me take loss after loss. And if you have no viable option on there outside of Daniel Jones to go to besides Tommy DeVito, and let's be real, once they get game footage on Tommy DeVito, I don't think he's going to be that much better than he is, right? Now you're out of luck. And then you have to mortgage the future even further to get a guy when all the prognosticators in the world are saying this draft is one of a kind. It may not be like this with the surplus of guys that are going to be this talented across the board, which means guys are going to get pushed down in the first and second rounds, which there are going to be plenty of guys there. But if you don't have that surplus or those guys to do it, like we all believe Brian Dable's going to be here. We all believe Brian Dable's going to be the guy that hopes to groom the quarterback. But if he doesn't, I'm firing both him and the GM.
I mean, Jose Perez, he says the Niners, Eagles, and Cowboys are the cream of the NFC. We can't hang with them at the moment, which is absolute facts. But the rest of the NFC, I wouldn't count the Giants out. I'm somewhat there, man. I feel like that's the cream of the crop right there. The 3 teams are the absolute cream of the crop. Those are 3 teams that it's not. I wouldn't even give this team a chance against any of those 3 teams. But the rest of the teams in the NFC, I'm not blown. I wouldn't be surprised if New York Giants beat any of the other teams in this conference. I just wouldn't be because none of them are stand out to me as that great or that superior. Like those 3 teams right there, the Cowboys, Niners, Eagles, they're superior. They're on a completely different dimension. They're far head and shoulders above the rest of the damn conference. I mean, the Lions too. Okay, yeah, the Lions are up there now too. You're right. I put them up there too. You're right. I agree with that. The Lions are up there too as well. Other than that, those 4 teams, that's it. Like to me, I know what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying because the Packers are definitely a better football team than us. That's not. I'm not even going to debate that. But to me, it's not like it's some out of the realm that we can't beat the Packers. It's not out of the
Well, I'm
realm.
not.
I'm not like ruling
I'm
as
not saying.
a guaranteed L like I would against the Eagles. You know what I mean? I rule the Eagles a guaranteed L. That's a guaranteed L to me. To
Yeah,
me,
but
that's
I'm
not
not
a
saying.
game we
I'm
have a
not saying
chance
that.
at.
I'm not saying that either. But what I'm saying is that 10 points ain't going to beat those teams. Grinding out wins
Well, no, it's
when you
not.
can't do nothing right now because none of the defense that we're playing are even worried about our receiving core. The Patriots defense did a hell of
No,
a
they
job,
shouldn't be.
keeping them in the game, right? And if they had, like I said, they had any competent quarterback play, they win that football game hands down. But they got gifted again, 3 turnovers by putrid quarterback play on those two guys. Jordan Love is on a hot streak. Let's say he comes off the Kansas City win, still on that hot streak. He comes in to meet us, and he gets a chance to move the football downfield. It might be. I'm just saying it might be a bit of a different outcome. Is all I'm saying. I am not as high on this team as everybody else. I understand the conference is bad, but a lot of these teams that are mid, you're starting to see that they're mid. You're starting to see some of these guys fight. The Saints, they're a mid team. They're losing games all over the place. But I still think they're going to beat us. I still think those teams are going to circle December as their chance to kind of get in the race because that's what they're looking at. The Giants are now going to circle themselves back in the race right now. That's what they're going to tell me. This is exactly what they're going to tell you. We got our quarterback. We're back in the race. We're going to be beating this team. Blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm telling you. This is what I mean. We're winning games.
Back in what race?
The back in the playoff race.
We're not
We're
back
back
in the
in the
race.
playoff race. Just like
We're,
you said, the entire NFC is
this
terrible,
is
right? So that
this
means
is no. We don't. We put that was too big a hole. I don't think we're really seriously in the race. We might be mathematically in it. We're not seriously in it though.
then exactly. But
But
those
that's
other
my
teams I
opinion.
mentioned are seriously in the race. And they looking at Giants on the schedule where they have a chance to still be in that race if they can pick up a victory. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about a 4-6 Rams team that could win, be 5-6, and be in that muddled up group of people that can win a game here and there to do it, right? To kind of evaluate, right? That's why if they lost to the Patriots today, I wouldn't even have cared if you started Tommy DeVito. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to bring out Tyrod Taylor next week against the Green Bay Packers because they're going to say, yeah, we're back in this playoff race. We're going to go on a couple runs. Our defense is playing outstanding. We're going to try to win the next 5 in a row to get back into this playoff thing. That's what they're saying, and that's what the Daniel Jones lovers are going to say. They're going to be like, oh, well, we got this guy. Let's get back into it. What I'm telling you is they beat some pretty piss poor teams the last 2 weeks who have bottomed out both teams. Let's see what happens when they play a feisty Green Bay team. Let's see what happens when they play a feisty New
Nah,
Orleans
but
team
no.
and a Rams team.
I think that's no, because the Washington Commanders. Come on, man. Before they played us, they came off of a few pretty solid weeks of football, man.
And
Playing
they
pretty.
played
I mean, they
terribly the
weren't
last
all
two.
wins. They didn't come off a big winning streak, but they've come off a couple of pretty solid games, man. I think we
See?
are discrediting what this team did to that Washington Commanders. You discrediting what this team did to the Washington Commanders offense in particular because they shut
I'm
that
not,
offense the hell out just
I'm
now
not
a week
discrediting
ago.
it because I see with my eyes what I see. And I see two teams that are putrid. I saw what I saw on Thursday that they were not good. They were not good. They had some wins. They've done some things. They can open it up. And yeah, Sam Howell is in a slump right now. He is not playing good football these last 2 weeks. Okay. And neither are the Patriots quarterbacks who had 2 interceptions. Our quarterback happens to be playing well enough to win these games against 2 putrid offenses. Now, again, when these 2 teams come down the stretch with the Packers and the Saints and the Rams and even the Eagles in these games, they one have to win out, but so do the other teams. The other teams are looking like, hey, I just need to get to 9. I just need 4 more wins. Oh, the Giants are on our schedule. Let me try to get my 4th win here. The Giants should not be worried about trying to get to the playoffs, but that's what they're going to be thinking about. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say, let's try to win out. Let's do, because that's what Mara's going to do. You think they're going to come out and not say that? All the things are going to change now. You watch. And if Tyrod Taylor comes back, that's exactly what they're going to envision. If Tommy DeVito comes back, then they're working for the future. If Tyrod comes back against the Green Bay Packers, you'll see what I'm talking about. They're going to try to claw their way back. I'm telling you, you guys understand. They don't want to pick a quarterback. That's what they don't want to do. Mara doesn't want to pick a quarterback. So, of course, he wants to win these games. And the further away you are from the top spot, the more likely you're not going to have a chance at these guys. And you're going to take a chance on a 50-50 guy. And I don't want to risk my career on a 50-50 guy if I was Joe Shane or Brian Dable. I'm just saying. But that's what it looks like. And if that's what you want to do, keep winning, that's fine. I think it's a lost season. I think you should be evaluating talent and not worried about wins or losses. Just worry about playing, right? But hey, what am I? Who am I? You know, we're gonna fucking fuck around, win seven games, and fucking be out of the draft position, and get Marvin Harrison Jr., bring back Daniel Jones, say it's all great, all gravy, all good. Don't worry about it. We got this. You know, next thing you know, we're gonna be the same thing next year, 8-9, out of the playoffs. Brian Dable and Joe Shane are fired.
Look, I look at this in the present, man. And right now, in the present, we got to worry about the present right now. Right now, this is what's in front of us, is the rest of these games this season. The draft ain't till April. We got to worry about what's in front of us right now, man. And honestly, it's just, like I said, I've
I'm
seen too
leaving.
many Jamarcus Russell and Ryan Leaf stories, man. I've seen too many of those stories, man. I've read that. I've also read that story too
I've
many
also seen
times.
Peyton Manning
You know, and
and
it's just,
Eli Manning and Philip
yeah, I
Rivers
have. I
and
have.
Ben
I remember Peyton.
Roethlisberger.
I talked about that earlier. Remember Peyton Manning? Remember Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf? Oh, who should we go with? Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning? Yes, the Indian Top Coach made the
Exactly.
right decision, and
But
I'm glad.
but
I'm
they
sure
had
they.
but they
But they
had the
were
choice.
thinking about it.
But
But it
see,
was a.
they had the
But
choice
the
to make
fact that
it.
that was even something to think about.
They had
But
the
the
choice to
thing is,
make.
the fact that that was something to think about. But those were the two top guys in that draft is what I'm talking about.
Right.
And the fact that that was
Right.
even the. But that was the fact that how bad could it have been if they would have took Ryan Leaf instead?
We have
It
no
was a legitimate option.
we have no
It was
idea
a
what would have
legitimate
happened.
option.
Right. But exactly, they had the chance to do it. They chose the right guy, and away you go. For every Ryan Leaf, there's a Peyton Manning. For every Rick Meyer, there's a Drew Bledsoe. You know what I'm saying? So I need my chance
Yeah,
to
that's
get
another
there.
good one.
You know, I'm trying to get my chance to get there
I mean,
and
I
get
hear,
that chance
I
to pass.
understand what you're saying. You definitely want to get one of the top guys if you got an opportunity to get one of the top
Right.
guys. I get that. I do totally get that. But at the same time, you still don't really know what you're getting, and that's what makes it just like you just go, you play for, you do everything for the present, and you worry about that when you get there, man. I just can't. I can't say I want. I rather. I don't. There's no reason to win meaningless football games because of we're ruining our draft position. It's just, to me, I can't have that. I mean, look, you're definitely entitled to your opinion. I respect your opinion, but
Well,
I
all
can't
I'm
have
going to
that
say is this.
mindset.
You don't have to have that mindset. All you need to do is this. If the Giants run it back next season and we pick whatever receiver and skill position player, and next year you're banging the table like, why do we still have this inconsistent quarterback sitting here? And all I'm going to say is you had a chance and you decided to go run it back. That's all I'm saying. I'm thinking about the future. You're thinking about the present. I don't care about the present. The present doesn't mean nothing to me this season. If I'm not going to the Super Bowl, what does it matter? If I don't make the playoffs, all it means is I'm pushing myself out of the top of the draft. I want a chance to get the guy or get one of these guys that's the cream of the crop guys and develop him and bring him in here, and away we go. Because guess what? You get Eli Manning here, you're talking for the next 15 years or a decade. You got to take that fucking chance. We are still sitting here resting on our laurels on a quarterback who's got a fucking 2 neck injuries and a ACL tear, and I'm going to want to sit here and win a few
Oh
games
no, I'm
to
over
kick
him.
it, to
I'm
kick
done with
to
him.
kick.
I'm done
But
with
I'm
him.
just saying, I'm saying you want to win
Leave,
games
leave
to
him
win
be.
games. That's what you're going to get. That's what they're going to serve you. That's what John Marin's going to tell you. He's going to be like, look, we won 7 games. Our team was decimated with injuries, this, that, and the other thing. We're bringing Daniel Jones back. That's what you're going to get. And you're going to have nobody on this roster worth a damn that they're going to give a crap to. And when he stinks, we're going to like, bring in Tommy DeVito. Yeah. And now we're going to be in quarterback hell and everyone's getting fired. That's what's going to happen. Listen, I'm just telling you what Daniel Jones is. We know what he is. If you don't have a chance to get a guy that's worth it, I don't want to see them draft a quarterback in the 4th round and hope this guy's going to be good. You know what I mean? Because trust me, there's a lot of good guys that'll be here. But if you want a guy that you can come in right now that you know is going to challenge for that spot right out the gate, you want one of these guys in the top 10. That's all I'm saying. And if you want to win games, fine. You're allowed to win games. I'm not sitting here looking at the Patriots, looking at these games saying, I want to win these games to flirt with a playoff spot, to not get it, to be out the fucking top 10 because I decided I needed to try to win a fucking few games. That's all.
I mean, Stephen Bloom, thanks for coming in, man. He's coming in, listing a lot of other first round quarterback debacles right here, man. I mean, it's just that list. That's
Right.
a list that can go on and on. But just like you said, but like you said, you do as long as you do hit on the right guy, you never know. And but you gotta, I guess you gotta take a chance on getting them. I'm making the
Right, but
pick to know. You know
okay.
what I mean? So you
Here's a
got.
prime example. Nobody knew Mahomes was going to be good. You Kansas City Chiefs traded up all the way to get their guy. Josh Allen traded up all the way to get their guy. The Bills did that. That's what they do. That's what you do to go get your guy, right? So I understand the draft positioning. All I'm saying is, if you have a chance to not move up as high to do that and mortgage the next year's future, like they did with Eli Manning, because that's what people don't realize. They mortgaged the future, but yet they had their team already coming together in certain areas. And boom, you do it. This is a rebuild team. I don't want to see this team and have them slap a Band-Aid on it and say, we're bringing them back next year. We're going to fire, Wink Martindale, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And don't worry about it. Daniel's going to be fine. He's going to be fixed, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't want them to say, hey, here's a fifth-round pick, because there's a lot of fifth-round picks that don't work. You're talking about fourth-rounders and fifth-rounders. I can give you a list just as long as this guy gave me on how many guys are not good.
I mean, absolutely, of course. I mean, obviously, your percentages definitely go down on getting a guy that's gonna be serviceable for you. You pick him that late in the draft, but it just I don't know. Like I said, I'd rather see this team go out there with pride, their heads up, and play good, hard nosed football. And if they get a win, they get a win. You know what I mean? I'd rather see that than watch what I was watching the whole entire first half of this season, where it was just an absolute joke.
What purpose
Where
does
we were
that
the
serve?
absolute laughing stock of the season.
What's so
Huh?
so so essentially what you're saying is you don't want to be a laughing stock of the year to see some pride. And at
No,
this
I
point, I
don't.
don't give a shit
No,
at
yes,
all what we're doing.
not this franchise. If we were the Cleveland Browns, then or the Detroit
What
Lions or franchises of that nature, then that's one thing, because that's what the fuck those are, pathetic ass franchises. Not this franchise.
we haven't done
This is
shit
not
in
the
10
franchise I
years.
grew up loving.
All right. And they're
Yeah, we
not the
haven't.
same team.
But still, at the end of the
They're not
day,
the same team.
I still want this
And they
team to win football games if they can win football games.
right. And but
Point
see
blank
the
and
thing is
period.
this,
If they can
you're
win,
mortgaging
win.
you're mortgaging the future now to be happy now instead of saying, hey, I'll get on board with possibly getting a guy to help rejuvenate this franchise and move in a different direction because I want a few wins here and there. That's what I'm saying. That's what this is. I'd rather sacrifice the future of this team to then say, because I know everyone's going to say this and that. You can tell me Marvin Harrison Jr. He could be a bust. He can come out blow out his knee. There's a lot of guys. I mean, we have Evan Neal. We're still spinning our wheels with Evan Neal. He was a top 5 pick. He could be a bust right now. All I'm saying is you take a swing when you get a chance to take a swing. You don't want to wait. This guy says wait till the second round. You have no idea if Penix Daniels are going to be there in the second round. They might be in the second round right now, but we haven't gotten to January. We haven't gotten to the hype machine. We haven't gotten to the pro days and the rises and the fallers. There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to rise in this draft. Okay, so all I'm saying is, if you're outside the top 10, it's going to be a lot harder to trade back in because those teams in the top 10, 5 or 6 of them are going to need a quarterback, and most of them are going to want to trade up and get the one that you want. And it's easy to make a deal with somebody when you're closer than it is when you're not. Right. And like I said, you can get a quarterback. I mean, the Bears did it. The Bears came from 21. They went down and went to 11, 10 Justin Fields. It can happen. I can see it happen. But they're not losing. They didn't have a chance to lose.
Sometimes
You're
you get
right
the
now
draft
losing.
day
There's
though.
nothing you're playing for.
Sometimes you get the draft day and you see how the draft is starting to play out, and you kind of can make moves based off of that too. I mean, that's just it's the nature of how things be working, man. Maneuvering like you just said with the Bears that year, they probably didn't necessarily go in there with a plan, but Justin Fields is
I
probably
did.
high on their draft board. They saw how the draft was playing out. They saw themselves with an opportunity to maybe try to get up and get him, and they got up and got his ass. I mean,
Right.
it's sometimes you
But
gotta let things play out too,
and
man.
here it is. I'll take a W where I can get them. The future is unknown, my dude. And that same line of thought, DJ can have a monster year. Well, I know DJ can't have a monster year because he stinks. He's stunk the last 5 years. So I have an idea of what he's going to give me. So I'm not going to say that DJ is going to give me a monster year when I've seen 5 years of non-monster year. I have a chance to pick a quarterback and right this ship and right the wrongs that I've done. And yeah, I want to do it. You don't want to go out and lose? Fine. This is not the NBA. There's no, the only reason tanking works in the NBA is because you get more lottery balls. And even then, it doesn't work. But if you have a chance, we're the New York Giants. We've been the laughing stock of 10 years. Don't give me this giant pride shit all of a sudden. We've had 2 playoff appearances in 2 decades. All right, the last 2013, we've been here. We're now 2013. 2023, we're here, right? We have had 2 playoff appearances. We've lost every game. This is the first time we actually have a chance to pick a good quarterback and not a bad one in a good elite class. Not the Daniel Jones fucking Dwayne Haskins class, which sucked. We can do it. And if you don't like the quarterback, you can always do what the Cardinals did and draft another one, Kyler Murray, and rip the Band-Aid off. I mean, what are we talking about here? If you have a chance to get one, you go get one. That's what happened with Daniel Jones. They had a chance to get one. They didn't want to wait till 17 or the second round and hope to trade up, and they drafted him early.
But it's just almost like you're almost assuming, like you said, like none of these guys will even possibly like right now. Where New York Giants are sitting in the draft, I'm not sure exactly where they're sitting at. But at the end of the day, they're still like in pretty. They're in decent draft position right now. And even if they get up to maybe 6 wins, they'll still be in decent. It's not like they're going to be in the back half of the first round. They're going to still be in the. They'll still be in the.
That's fine. But I'm not trying to win out, trying to make this a playoff run, because I know that this team has a lot of flaws.
That's not going to happen anyway. That's not going to happen anyway.
That Patriot team is just as bad as us, if not worse. If not worse.
Yes, that's not exactly my point, but that's not going to happen anyway. We're not making the fucking playoffs. Come on, what are we talking about? This team is sitting at 4-8. We're not making the fucking playoffs. We got 2 games against the Philadelphia Eagles on our schedule. We're not making the fucking playoffs. Like, that's not even going to happen anyway. So right now, it's like, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this ride. We get a couple more wins. We get up to like 6 wins, and I'm thinking we can possibly do that. I'm still going to be all right with that. And it is what it is. It's still going to be a terrible season. We'll still have a good draft pick. We'll still be happy selecting in a good draft position, and it just is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I just can't sit here and be.
I know that he doesn't want Jones. I know he doesn't want Jones. That's not what I'm saying. The Giants are going. You're not listening to me, Kenneth. I said he doesn't want Jones. That's fine. But if they win games and end up being 7-10, 8-9, or whatever the case may be, if they win, I don't think they're going to be that good. But if they win games, Mara can come back to the entire fan base and say, we're going to run it back with Daniel Jones. We have no problems. The offensive line was the issue. That's what we're going to do. Okay, and so then we don't get a quarterback. So even though Mac doesn't like him, the guy might still come back. That's what the problem is, and that's why I'm saying if we have a chance to do it, we can force the hand of Mara to not meddle. That's the initial argument. Is I'm more worried about Mara meddling than Joe Schoen doing his job, because I think Joe Schoen can do his job. I think he's capable of doing it. It's Mara telling them, oh, well, you know what? We won a few games. We're not going to do that. We're not going to pick a quarterback. And then they punt on the quarterback. And then next year we come to the same arch in the road. This guy's injured for some reason, or the team is slipping, and he's one of the reasons why they're slipping. And we're sitting here saying, well, let's win a few more games to do what? To get out of drafting Shedeur Sanders and all these other guys? Come on.
I'm just asking for a couple more. 6 wins. I just think we'll still be in prime position to get one of those guys. Exactly the most like the Drake May or the what you call it. But I still think one of these. I think it'll still have a top guy available. What the Giants will probably be still picking at. Even if they win a couple of more games, which I think they possibly will do.
I don't believe so. I believe we lucked out with the teams that we played. And I think we're gonna start to see some receipts come back to us in the next few weeks, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But like, to me, can we score 10 points? It's not like we had an offensive juggernaut. It's not like Tommy Numbnuts was doing great things out there against that Patriot defense. He's given up the most sacks in 3 games of being played at quarterback. So, eventually those sacks are going to come back to bite you down the road when you're playing, like I said, better defenses. I think people are underestimating these teams that we're playing. Yes, they're winnable games, and I see that we can win them, but I have no interest in trying to win these games to get us out of there. Now, again, granted, you can draft the guy. It's got to be the right guy, the right fit, whatever the case may be. Fan how you want to fan. You want to root for them? Fine. You want if I want to root for them to have a top 10 pick, then that's what I want to do. Why does it matter to you? All right. The only thing that matters to me is that I don't see number fucking 8 under center anymore. Otherwise, it's gonna be, I'm just not gonna watch, and that's fine. If he's under center and we have a guy that is viable resources that they put into, not a third round pick or a fourth round pick or some flyer pick that they want to take, actual valuable resource, then I can believe. See, what everyone
Well,
wants to talk about is Jalen Hurst. They got lucky on Jalen Hurst. You know why? Because they had 2 top 10 picks the following year. So if he came in and stunk and was a Tommy DeVito, they were like, all right, we tried him out. He stinks. We were going to go a different direction anyways. They were already had the ammo for it. When they saw that there was potential and they ran with it, and they brought him in and said they could do it, and they got themselves out again. They had another first round pick when they traded with Miami. So they had a chance to get quarterbacks if this guy didn't fail. We don't have that option. That was our option when we were drafting Evan Neal. But the quarterbacks that were coming out last year, we were too high for. And the first year that they drafted when they came in, right? There was nobody good. There were Sam Howell and Malik Willis, and Sam Howell, who I banged the table for, saying that we should have him in house. If you can get him that low, you get him, right? And now the Washington might have their guy. We don't know. Still, I think he's plenty good. All I'm saying is, I don't want to. For me, I think the wind. If you want to have the wind come back in the sails, get a guy in here that's going to do it. Don't draft me a skill position player to keep the same guy who can't even see guys downfield right now.
I mean, look, the Daniel Jones thing, to me, Tommy DeVito's already proven why Daniel Jones can't be your answer coming back next year, anything. I mean, like I said, he'll be a part of this team because of his contract, but at the end of the day, I think just with Tommy DeVito is just you're just watching the offense, even though it's still not good, it's still more efficient than it was. And that's just a fact. It's still more efficient than it was. It's not good, but it is more efficient than it was when Daniel Jones was out there. And I mean, it just is. That's just a fact. With Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito leads the New York Giants in passing touchdowns on the year. Tommy DeVito. Like, that, it doesn't even sound right saying that shit, but that's where we are right now as New York Giants, New York Giant fans as part of and people being part of the team. Tommy DeVito has got this team rallying around him, no matter what. And you can't. It doesn't matter how you feel. It's just you watch and you see these guys are rallying around this guy. I mean, they do. They seem to have some kind of belief in this dude, and if that's going to produce a better product on the field and better football for the rest of this 2023 season,
But
which
it's
has
not
been
that much better.
a miserable year, I mean, it just is what it's because the
He
team is
scored 10
bad.
points.
I'm not acknowledging. I'm not acknowledging that the team is like saying the team is so good or great. I understand where we are as a team. I'm just saying it's still more efficient than what we were getting from earlier in the year. It just is. They're just playing better. I mean, like I said, just the downfield looks. You're making defenses at least giving them something to think about. Where before we were just making it easy for everybody we were playing against. Now it's like at least you gotta actually be prepared to some extent, at least. Like it's just not. I mean, our talent is what our talent is, and it's not good. And this team, especially on the offensive side of football, is not good.
Right.
I
And I
mean,
don't
I'm
think,
not. We all acknowledge that. We all.
good. But again, you want to fan the way you want to fan. I'll fan how I want to fan. If I want a chance to get Caleb Williams and Drake May and have a chance of doing that, and I'd rather be in the top 5 where it's going to take a few draft picks to move up than being in the top 10. Now, again, I'm with people. I like Jaden Daniels. I like Michael Penix Jr. I like J.D. McCarthy and Bo Nix. I'd be happy with all 4 of those guys. Either one would make me happy. I get it. All I'm saying is I'm not excited about a team that was putrid on offense and didn't do anything. And the story of the game. I know what the story of the game is. It wasn't like the Giants were dominating. It's just they happened to be good, a good in a short span when they needed to be. And I'm just saying, these teams down the stretch that are going to be fighting for this playoffs, and we don't have to worry about fighting. I don't care if we win a meaningless game here or there to end up 5-12, because at the end of the day, you're still out of the playoffs and you're still not in the top 10. If I don't want to see them kicked out of the top 10. If that means they're 6-10, fine.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I just look. Yeah, like I said, we're all entitled to fan the way we want to fan. You're right about that. That's certainly for sure. Right, for sure. Like you said, your opinion is always going to be respected by me for sure. But
Listen,
right now
if
we're
you
going
want
to
to
be
you want to win,
a
I'm
little
not going to
bit
be mad at you.
disagreements here.
I'm not going to be mad at you
We're
that you
just
want to
going to
win.
be a little disagreements here. That's all. That's just
Right,
it's, we're humans,
right,
so that's
right. I
what
mean,
being humans is all about.
it is. It is what it is. And I mean, but listen, is it fun to win? And do you have a smile on your face? And will you sleep easy? Yes, we both will. At the end of the day, I know that it's the lost season. I'm preparing for the draft. I'm not trying to sit here and make something that it's not. And that's all. And I just rather just see us stay in our draft position
What
and
is
take a swing at
going
one of these
on with
big
the
time
Kansas
guys.
City Chiefs? I'm sorry, but what is going on with the Kansas City Chiefs, bro? What is
I gotta
happening
get.
with
I
this
don't have a
football
game on
team?
in the room, so I'm riding blind right now. But
It is
anyway,
it's 14-0 Raiders. So it looks like Zion gonna be right. If did he pick the Raiders on the show yesterday?
yes, I
It's
think you
like
did.
he's on his way to possibly being right.
Right,
I mean, I know obviously
exactly.
there's still plenty of football left to be played, but that's
Right,
craziness.
but that's what I mean. Green Bay might have a chance to beat Kansas City, and then next thing you know, they're back in the playoff race as well. So, this is what I mean. Don't. Anyways, we're off on a tangent. I want to go catch some of these games. Obviously,
Yeah,
I've
I
been
was
on
about
here
to
long.
wrap this up. Appreciate you coming in too, bro. Appreciate it.
Listen, I think I gave a good perspective
I'm,
on why I wasn't happy. I know some people aren't happy about that, and it stirs the pot a little bit. But that's why I love Mac, man, because Mac. We both stay on our same side, right? And we're going to draw the line in the sand. And we're just going to give you the reason why we like our points, and this is why I think I enjoy doing shows with Mac, because he doesn't just judge you by what you do. He says, "Hey, man, you want to do that? That's fine, but here's why I'm going to do it my way, right? And you can do it yours. Explain your reasons, and that's all. I try to give my reasons. That's all."
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you, everybody in the chat. Thanks for coming through. This another edition of the True Blue Aftermath, man. I really appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tune in Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself and Adam Costas will break down the entire NFC week 12 action in the NFC East, man. Like we do every each and every Wednesday, man. Another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. And we'll see y'all Wednesday afternoon, 5:30 p.m., man. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, MacDaGiantsFan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at MacDaGiantsFan. That's MacDa Giants Fan.